Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my official review for the mid-season premiere for Season 6 of The Walking Dead. Absolutely mind-blowing issue. Still can't believe it turned out to be so good and lived up to the hype, and I'd say even smashed it, man. Holy shit, what an episode. So this isn't my reaction. This is going to be the review. I'll try to stay calm for this one. If you want to see me geek out, freak out, I'll put the link in the description below. I'll put an annotation right here for the reaction video when I just finished watching and gave you guys my natural reaction to it. This one's going to be more organized. This one's going to be the actual review. Let's go through. Let's talk about each scene. Let's break it down and let's give a score for what I would say right off the bat is the most action-packed, the most zombie kills, the most character deaths, probably all around the best episode of The Walking Dead we have ever seen, I would say. So let's get started with the review. Spoiler warning, of course, if you guys have not seen this one yet, you're going to want to watch this before you watch my review and I spoil the shit out of it for you, because this one had, just so crazy, man. Let's just start from the beginning. We'll give our thoughts each part of the way through. So we start off with one of the coolest intros ever. They even did it for us like twice. You know, they showed us like the promo clip that we had seen leading up to this half of the season with the Negan mention from Negan's Saviors, a group of his men, and then they went back over it again. You see some funny parts with the guy who's leading them, who's still unnamed. He doesn't really have a name. He's just kind of the goofy guy who calls Abraham a ginger, talks about eating shit, and it's very funny. I'm not going to kill you, wow. And then out of nowhere, so they're talking, and out of nowhere, you just see the explosion. And I love how they show like his head afterwards. It's like sitting there. So really cool. The TV series version, the comic series version, that guy escapes, and he goes back to tell Negan that this group basically told him to get effed and killed a whole bunch of his men. In this version, Daryl just kills everybody. Daryl's kill count is off the charts now. He's got to be one of the characters that has killed the most surviving villains in the show. So far, man, crazy. Just out of nowhere, just go boom, awesome, and gets cut a little bit from T, who hurts him a little bit, but not enough. Credits roll. So awesome opening scene, one of the best opening sequences we've ever seen. Would have been even better if they hadn't released it earlier, but it was nice to get that little taste leading up to this half, to get to hear the mention of Negan, who of course will be coming in at the season finale, and I can't wait to see our next big villain, Negan, to come in. It's going to be incredible. So the intro was awesome, of course, amazing. Going on from there, oh man, we've got the sound playing. You've got Sam and that, and so they threw me through a little bit of a loop. I was expecting to see the zombies turn on Sam right away when he started calling for his mom and attack. What they did instead was they had him kind of lead out a little bit to kind of had it fit in, and it was good because you get Father Gabriel, who gets to take Judith and go with her to the church, and finally afterwards he decides to leave the church, like I said in my reaction video. Metaphorically, before he's trapped inside the church, he won't let anybody in. Now he's changed so much to the point, really redeemed the character, I'd say, because a lot of us have hated Father Gabriel for a long time, and rightfully so, because he hasn't helped anybody. He's kind of tried to screw Rick's group over, and now he's willing to fight for the group, fight for the survivors, and actually get out there himself and have courage and fight for them, which was awesome to see, and also help save Judith, because if she was there in that case, that could have been messy if Carl had her and he went down and then she rolled out or something and the zombies were there. So that was great. I love to see that. And the part where Sam, you hear I did like the clips of how they kind of played it. You have like Carol's voice in his mind still from what she said about the monsters, and he has a nervous breakdown, which, as you can think, even though he thinks he's got it under control, at a certain point he sees these zombies walking, they're like guts hanging out, and he sees a zombie kid. And that was really well done because we don't see many of them, in the series. And, it's just like him. It's like it's like he's looking at himself. And it's just too much to handle, that he could become like that, and he just has a mental breakdown, and the zombies get wise to it, and then of course Jesse afterwards, she can't help herself. It's in your nature. You try to be quiet, you try to do that, but you see something like that, you can't help it, and she screams. So happy Valentine's Day, Walking Dead style. So then after that, to add to that, okay, so let's go. So there you have two huge character deaths right there, which were just traumatizing to watch. I mean, really, really painful, traumatizing to watch. They didn't, like, they showed a good amount of it. They didn't show as much guts as they probably could have, but there was plenty of other guts in the episode to make up for it. And then you see Rick and Andrew Lincoln's face, and he's in denial. He's in a state of shock. He's saying, no, no, no. So he's saying with him, he's got this idea. He's got his plan. Okay, we're going to change plans, and then it all just comes crashing down in front of him, and he's just rejecting it. He can't help it either. He's saying out loud, no, no, no. He's, oh my God. And then we find out, the part where, she's got holding hands with Carl. So she's at this point, her muscles have gone, stiff at that point, and she's getting eaten alive. So her body is seized, has tensed, and Carl can't get his damn hand out of her. She's too strong for him. She's got his her mama bear latch on him, trying to protect her cub, ready to go, right? So then Rick has to snap, and the flashing, really, really well done. The flashing, boom, boom, boom. And, coming down on it, just absolutely brutal and crazy to see. And then we see, really quickly, out of nowhere, we see Michonne behind Ron. Ron gets the gun, and he just pulls the trigger. As he does it, Michonne's just going up through him. Oh my God, so crazy! And then it's like, where'd Carl go? I don't see Carl. And then you see it. He's got the missing eye part. Now in the comic book series, this is one. Okay, if there's one complaint about the episode, and because I try to be unbiased with my reviews, trying to be a little more serious than as fanboyish in the reaction. In the comic book series, I did like how there was a splash page, Charlie Adler artwork, and you could see the hat and everything, and it like goes up through the hat, blowing out part of the hat and like taking off, like seems to kind of like get part of his ear. At least afterwards, I think he's got both his ears. They're okay, but it kind of like goes up and through and like breaks part of the hat off. And it's a awesome splash page. And I do think that if there's one thing about this episode they could have improved, they could have showed the shot from Ron in like slow motion from a point of view or something, looking at Rick, trying to get Rick, and then Carl getting in the way, because he tried to shoot Rick, but Carl was right in the way, and so it went through, and basically it looks like from the shot that it takes out his eye, but that, you don't really see much else damage. So it's kind of like, how did it go? Like, did it go this way? The thing is, it's a TV show, right? So they only have so much time to get an episode like this done. They put in a ton of work for it. So sometimes, it's like, in a movie, maybe we would have been able to see that first-person view, slow-mo, some cool music in the background as it goes through, just like the comic book series version of it. This version, it wasn't quite as good as the comic book series shot. I would say that. Not quite as good as Charlie Adler's artwork, which was stunning at the point where you see it. And made everybody on the internet just went crazy when that issue was released. Crazy issue. I even remember because I was doing videos at that time when that came out. It was nuts. So I would say I think this is one of the rare times where I do prefer the comic book series version of that part. The rest of it, I like Jesse better, Sam better in the TV series, Ron, better in the TV series, more memorable in the TV series version for sure. But that one part, I felt like they could have maybe slowed that down, showed that a little bit more. That way it's not like new viewers were like, what the, Carl got shot? What? It's like if it would have slow mode shown that, oh, that could have been crazy. That said, we can't be too picky because remember, it's just a TV series. There's lots of TV series where everything looks like crap. It's like they don't show us hardly anything cool. So, they went for broke and they did a lot this episode. I think we got to give him a gimme. It's, it is what it is because there's a lot more coming after that, of course. So he goes down, Rick grabs him, starts to carry him. Michonne comes in as always. Michonne's awesome, man. She's got to be, one of the best characters in any zombie apocalypse, not just The Walking Dead, but any zombie apocalypse story ever. I mean, she's Denai Guerrero's awesome job. She's hacking freaking zombies left, right, and center for Rick. She's she's so good for Rick to have, there to be able to, help protect Carl, help protect him. And she's just such an awesome character. So then they get out of there. He's carrying them, and they make it to the infirmary. So that's the big part that we kind of knew. It was kind of spoiled before this. That's the big part that came out. It was still shocking to see. It was still traumatizing and crazy to see. And oh man, God, it was just so incredible. So wow. Blew my mind. Okay, so that's a TV series version of that event, which is insane. So then we go off there. Okay, so to add to that, we also had so a lot of episodes you'd have like a big thing like that, and nothing else of weight in the episode. Not even the Daryl stuff with killing the Negan's men and everything. This one, it keeps going at that same kind of pace. Rather than slowing it right down and having a bunch of filler like a lot of shows would do, they don't do it. They keep going. And you see Rick, he comes in. Okay, so let's talk about Denise before we get into the Rick and the No Way Out stuff. So Denise's part was great. I really liked it because before I was like, I don't care about this character, whatever. Instantly in this episode, you start feeling for her. She gets taken by the Alpha Wolf. You see the Alpha Wolf there. They head out. He forces her to go. She's kind of like, what should I do? You can see it in her when they're sitting there against the bricks, and she's like, like down, and the zombies are all. She's like, what should I do? What should I do? How can I don't want to leave with this guy. This guy's gonna, he's gonna kill me or something. He's gonna rape me, whatever. I don't want to leave with this guy. He's crazy, right? So, so then, oh man, so they find a break in it with the screaming and stuff. They go to head out, and he gets bitten in the zombie chaos, right? She almost gets it because she's a doctor. She's insanely useful, but she's not great at killing zombies, and she's not physically that strong or anything. It was what is. Bigger zombie grabs her. So he comes, he saves her, and then he gets bitten on the arm. Oh my God, that was so crazy. I did not expect to see that right off the bat. I thought he was going to survive on a little bit further. I thought they were probably going to get away, and then maybe they'd use that storyline in the future episodes. Again, they didn't add any filler. They just resolved it pretty much right away. He gets bitten, so he's dead meat. She says she can save him, so they go to the infirmary and that, and just in time. I guess, if you think about it, she would have to be there to save Carl, so it had to work into the story that way, to be there for Carl, to be able to patch him up and everything and give him a chance. As we saw at the end of the episode, he's able to close his hand with Rick, so, he's gonna survive. Don't worry, guys. You guys, he's not gonna die. He'll be okay. He'll survive, but he's gonna be somewhat damaged. 9 Inch Nails theme song was used last year. There's a drop for that, so I love that song. It's really good for Walking Dead. So he's going to be somewhat damaged, but he's going to be all right. And so the Alpha Wolf, Carol gets him, right? So awesome. So after it's all said and done, Morgan tries to stop her. She gets him anyway. And wow, so that's an awesome storyline between the two of them. And what's going to happen with them? Two opposing ideologies, two opposing points of view, clashing. A realist. Should I say, what's the word? Nihilist, a nihilist realist with somebody who's a hopeful optimist, and just clashing against each other. Just two worlds that just they collide, right? So awesome. So Carol gets her revenge. That was sweet. And then, so then you've got. Let's go back. Let's talk about. All the while, Glenn's in there and Enid's in there, and they're saving Maggie and stuff, and then he almost gets walled off to save his wife and stuff, and then Abraham shows up and all this craziness at the end, and gunshots and everything. Daryl comes in and lights up the freaking river and or the water and stuff with fire. So let's flash back. So you got all that happening, craziness, and then the No Way Out stuff, which is that, okay, you have the characters where they do not have any means, Rick and everybody have no means of getting out of there, by using the guts trick and all this stuff. It's pretty hard to do. It's not working that 100%. You got characters being killed when they're trying to get out through sneaking out. Or do things, they're finding that, characters are being killed. So Rick just snaps. After Carl and everybody else, he just loses it. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode, when he just says, F it, and he just takes the axe and just opens the door. Great shot, awesome, where he's just like, fuck this. I'm going. I don't give a fuck. Whatever happens. They're coming in. So now's the time. It's the only choice we have. If we wait for them to kind of, smash their way in, Carl's not going to make it. So he's willing to do anything, just like Glenn at that point. They go out and, because, of course, he's the leader, everybody looks up to him. They realize, okay, now is our chance. Eventually, as Eugene said, they got to fight their way out, and people start coming out. I love, man, it's so awesome the part when he comes out and he starts, hacking and slashing all the different zombies. Michelle gets out there as soon as she can. Everybody else goes out, and they all come together. And I really liked how he summed it up at the end when he's telling Carl that together as a team, they can overcome any of these things. And they're just smoking all these zombies one after another. Everybody comes out. Gabriel joins in, and man, you just have some of the best like zombie kill action sequences, so fast, so packed in there, so spliced, and just really love the way they handled the transition. And you have the effects where, they're all cutting them down as fast as they can. It's like first person to the point where, you get the idea that they've gone through and like wiped out, because there was no way out. They fought their way out, and it was awesome to see another iconic comic book series moment, adapted for the TV series, and to see them fight their way out, annihilating, just like hundreds of zombies. So, it turns kind of the morning comes or the light comes, and, you just see the zombies everywhere, bodies all over the place, and just absolutely crazy. Daryl shows up and everything and is there to help out. They all come together, and they fight their way out. Just insane. So then we end up with the Rick part where he's talking to Carl and telling him that, even though all this shit has happened and craziness and character deaths and everything, people on his team that have died now, and, because he cared about Jesse and maybe he thought, they would be together, this kind of deal. He probably wanted that, even though it'd be a little messed up because of Ron and that, and, but still, he wanted to give it a shot, obviously, and respected her and everything, and she's dead, and he still feels that Deanna's right, that they can still fight their way through it, and they can still be optimistic, and they can still, they can still survive. It's worth fighting for. So they can overcome this tremendous adversity and create the kind of world, the new world's going to need Rick Grimes type idea for Carl and for those of the future, Judith and everybody else. So there's my summary basically as part of the review. So, okay, so that's the episode. Also, you had the Alpha Wolf death in there. He comes back as a zombie, which was cool, and Morgan gets him. This episode was so packed with just amazing, scenes and clips and just speed and just everything just packed in. They could have easily stretched this into 2 episodes, maybe 3. And if you say, Trev, that's not possible, watch season 2. Watch season 2. If you want to test me, watch season 2. The episodes before Pretty Much Dead Already. There's at least 3 episodes there, maybe 4, that even got the showrunner Frank Darabont fired because he didn't like the quality they were doing, and he wanted a better budget and stuff. This was, you could have stretched this into probably 3 episodes. Easy 2, maybe 3, that kind of deal. So they just, they packed it. It was a climactic episode for the series. It was a turning point for the series, and just an absolutely crazy episode all around. I think my favorite episode of The Walking Dead ever. I have to watch it again, have to compare, but if you think about, cumulatively, everything they put in this episode, where you don't just have like one thing happening, you just have all this stuff coming together, and Negan and starting and everything, just craziness. So is that it for the Wolves, man? Oh, tough call, man. It seems like it. It seems like the Alpha Wolf is dead. This whole group's annihilated. We'll see if there's any more out there, or if we're fully into the Savior story now. So to give it a score, how can I not give this one a 10 out of 10? My only knock, like I said, is I think they could have done a little bit more with the Carl part. But hey, you got to remember it's a TV show. They've got only so much time to do it, and it is what it is. But aside from that, this episode was just incredibly traumatic, dark, touching. I mean, action-packed. Just an insane episode. I'm even having trouble finding words to describe how amazing this episode was for me as a big fan of the comic book series, as somebody who read these weekly issues when they were released for No Way Out and thought it was awesome then. To see it adapted in this fashion blew my mind. Absolutely incredible. Perfect 10 out of 10 for me. OMFG, this one was crazy. So, man, that's pretty much all I got to say for the review. We'll do the predictions for next week. I feel like talking about it more, but that's basically everything. Predictions video will be up in about an hour or 2, but I think it's going to happen next week. If you're new to the channel, you want to see that, you want to see my review next week. I review every episode of The Walking Dead, have a review for every single one since the first season, since the first episode aired. I was on YouTube doing reviews for it. So if you guys want to watch any other episode reviews, if you want to hear my predictions, if you want to join in with the fun, comment and everything, subscribe at the bottom left so you can do all that. Next video, predictions video, will be posted in an hour, guys. I'll probably do a top 5 for this one. That's how incredible this one was. Release it tomorrow. We'll do a Q&A this week. Lots of fun stuff. Should be able to do videos every day of the week for you guys leading up to the second episode of the second half of Season 6. So write your comments below. Send me your questions in a Q&A. Let me know what your favorite parts of the episode were. I'll do mine in my top 5. And AMC, Bravo, man. Great job. You guys nailed it. It's awesome. If you guys like this video, please do me a solid. Thumb it up below, share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to sub, don't miss out on everything, guys. So don't forget to subscribe. That's it for this video. See you guys again in an hour. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Whew.